Hey, good morning everybody. New day. Last time you saw, we had fitted the floor supports in, welded the floor supports in and fitted the floor pans. I had made the floor pans before I started this channel, some previous work that I've been doing on this car. So I can show you real quick how I made the floor pan, how I templated them, and how I made the floor pans and figured out what they needed to look like. I'll go over that real quick. Welcome back. Thank you for watching. I appreciate everybody that's returning to watch my channel. I hope you're enjoying the videos that I'm putting out. Please hit that like button so I'll know if you are. Let's go over this panel real quick. Alright, what I did originally is I took a piece of paper and I laid it on the floor in the car, and took my markers and I kind of drew out on the paper where all the lines were. There's a flange here, the front edge. These marks are for where the floor takes a dip. These are all B-roll marks coming across here, and then the marks where the back of the floor pan rolled up this way and then rolled back. So I marked all that, made little things about I need to leave this little piece here in case I need some extra metal to work with. Right here it says rise up. There's a little hump in the floor where the speedometer cable passed above the frame and below the floor, so they make this little rise. So I took all this information, tells me where to bend it, where it turns up on the side, everything. Take all that information and I transferred it directly over to the metal. Same set of information. Flange down, roll this down for the bead-roll edge. These floor lines. Here's the bead-roll lines. Here's where I marked it to make the drop. Here's the elevated part, and on the elevated part I had to flip it over to the other side. So you can see on the other side right here, I had to center line it, make my mark, and then get that in there too. So I wrote my notes about it. This says right here, it says extra, cut off where necessary. Made my bend here, and I got my little note right here. It says roll up on this line right here. So that's how I made the floor. Got it pretty close, and we took it over there. The last video I didn't hit the record button, so I didn't record us fitting this in the floor. So I didn't get it in the floor. Didn't get that video in, but we had it fitted. I showed you the end result of us fitting it in the floor. There's still a little bit more trimming and fitting as usual. I took these out. I'm gonna clean up the floor supports, get them ready for welding the floor pans in, and I got to put the seat mount locations on the floor supports before I put the pans in, because I got to put those in, then I got to lay the pans in, get them fitted, mark those seat locations, drill the holes for the bolts to go through, and all that good stuff. So that's where I'm at. So let's get over here. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. As you can see, front support's in, the two center supports are in. You saw us measure. If you can see my measurements for where those holes for the seat mounts go. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure up, get ready, and put those seat mounts in. Well, what I've done so far, I took the pans back out, looked at everything, and I made some plates to try and fit my seat bolts onto. the seats have in front, they have a hook on the front of the seat rail that hooks into here, and then there's a bolt on each side in the back. What I want to do is make sure that I've got this set up to where it's going to be level with the other seat. Everything's going to look the same and matches. I went ahead and put the console in it, and I set the other seat in it, and I'm getting ready to set this seat in it. So I'm going to set the seat in on top of it, check it. I'll take you around and show you what I'm looking at on the level wise. I'm going to come back, mark where the nuts need to be welded on these plates, and then I'll be able to weld them in place, bolt the seat down in place, and then I'll take the seat back out and start fitting the floorboard. So here we go. Line up for the seat brackets right now. Trim that plate over there just a little bit. Let's go look. I'm looking at the seats, they look pretty level. That's what I'm looking for. And in here they look pretty much the same going that way. So I know I got my brackets pretty much in the back. And both seats are pulled completely forward at the moment. Alright, I'm going to pull the seat back out. Well, first thing I need to do is try and mark where I need to weld the nuts in. Other one I need to pull out and trim to fit a little better. So let me go do that. See if I got that trimmed enough. And there we go. That's more better. Mark for my hole. Just drive that in. I know where I need to put the nut. I think I can reach it with the marker. Can't get the marker in there. Okay, I'm gonna pull the seat back out. I'm gonna go drill my holes, weld the nuts on, and bring them back in, and I'll set the seat back in on top. Then I can tack weld the plates in. That way I'll know they're in the right place. I'll double fit the seat and we'll go from there. Alright, what I got done, I came in here, I cleaned all the surfaces. I put weld through primer on the edges where I'm going to weld. I painted the center of this to give it some protection. I made up my brackets. I went ahead and welded in the nuts. And I got them kind of fitted. I'm going to set the seat in, make sure everything lines up, everything sits where it's supposed to. Then I'm going to tack them in place. I'll take the seat back out and then weld them in real quick. Then we'll get ready to fit the floor. trying to get this lined up to get the bolt in it. Let me check it. Make sure everything looks okay. Seat's looking pretty good right there. Everything's lined up. Space is okay. Alright, I'm gonna tack my new mounts in, and then I'll take the seat back out. Bolts out. Seat is very heavy. And I'm gonna go ahead and weld this in.
I got a new GoPro stick to mount the magnetic mount. And as I'm hammering, you can see it easing over. It's a flexible mount. And it just eased over on its own there. And I don't realize it till I get done with this little section.
I can clean that up with the grinder now a little bit. Well, sorry about that on the video. My new stick holder, magnetic holder thingy bent over. Cleaned up my welds a little bit. Got everything ready here to start getting the floors in. So I'm gonna start fitting this front floor back in, put it upside down. Start fitting this back in where I want it. I put this little piece of wood in here, as you can see on the floorboard right here, to make sure I maintain the same space that I had for this part of the floor. Hammering on it a little bit, pushed this part down some, but this is where the level of the floor was in comparison to the frame. So that's why I'm leaving that little piece of wood there. That way I know my spacing will be okay when I put the floor pans in. trying to get this body, keeping this line, this body line that comes off of the center hump, trying to keep it lined up. When I come across, everything will be in alignment. I like using these self-tappers. Get everything in place, and you just kind of get ready to trim. Pan is starting to fit in there pretty nice. And I'm going to do the cut and butt kind of thing. I'll cut along this edge because I can get to it and pull whatever metal I cut out. I can pull it out. But I'll cut that edge, and I'm going to tack weld it, cut it, and then make sure it butts up nice together, and then I'll weld it together. Looks like I got a little more trimming to do. Probably back here. I may just cut that with that cut-off wheel. And I'll have to come in up here and trim this edge back along here. Cut this. want to cut that as high as I can because there was some rust in the floor. There's a little spot right here I'm going to have to come back later and fix. But I want to get these pans in. Looking pretty good right now. I'll have to pull the pan back out, and I'm going to have to drill my spot weld holes through here and some spot weld holes under the toe board pan, and then I have to drill a couple of spot weld holes through here, and then I can put it back in and then I can start welding it in. And when I get these two welded in, then I'll move on to this centerpiece. So let me pull it back out. Well, first off, mark where I want my spot weld holes at. Now I'm gonna go drill out my spot weld holes in those two panels and get them prepped up to go ahead and start installing, and then I'll come back and cut the toe board back a little bit for fitting it. So stand by while I do that. Alright, I'm gonna trim this piece out real quick, and then I'm gonna put it in the fast forward and fit, trim, fit, and weld, and just go through the process. But it's going to take me a while, so I'm going to put it in fast forward. If I need to say anything during that time, you know, I'll slow it down. right, guys. Kind of reached the stopping point, I think, for today. Probably be the end of this video. Got the supports in, got the floorboards tacked in. They're not fully welded in yet, but front floorboards in, toe board and front floorboards in. Next, I'll be working on this middle section of the floor. I got to take the mounts, this mount loose, and then set the floor in. I got to get it fitted, the center section, and then line up the holes. I got to drill through that sheet metal for the center floor to line my holes up, and then I'll use that to help suck the panel down to the floor supports. So that's what we'll be headed to in the next video, finishing up, putting in the floor, and then I think I'm gonna take a break from this and get on the Model A. I got the brake parts in for the Model A, fittings and that kind of stuff. I want to get the brakes mounted on the Model A. Once I get the brakes all mounted, I want to get the motor and transmission in it. I gotta fab up the transmission mount to make it work, and then after I get the motor and transmission in, all the brakes on it, I'm gonna set the body on it. We'll do some video on that. So that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it greatly. I still can't believe anybody wants to watch this video. Like I said, I enjoy making them. It helps me show people that own the car that I'm working on, helps me show them, hey, this is what I got going on. Like I said before, the gentleman with the Riviera, the friend of mine with the Riviera, he lives 4 hours away. So he can't just drive by and take a look at the progress. So making these videos, I can tell him, hey, go to my YouTube channel, take a look, you can see what I've been doing. So that's what I'm doing them for mainly. If I get somewhere else with it, I get somewhere else with it. If I don't, I don't. It doesn't make that much difference to me. I'm just trying to make a decent content. I'm trying to make an enjoyable video. So as far as that goes, work on them old rides, save a part of history. Keep your head up, don't look down. Remember that. Always looking up. If you're looking up, you can make things better. So until next time, bye.